Today we're at the Salvation Army Center of Hope, and we're cooking a meal for 300 plus people. And this is a meal for those in need. So the Salvation Army Center of Hope hosts many people who are without homes. And so today we hope to serve up a delicious meal. So this is the London Muslim Mosque Muslim Outreach Committee that is doing this today. And this is something we do on an annual basis, actually multiple times a year. And we've been doing it for many years in the past. Can't wait to show you what the food looks like. So the Muslim Outreach Committee is involved in work pertaining to outreach. So this is one of the things that we do, serving up a meal at the Salvation Army. As well, we work with the chaplaincy program at Limberlost, where we, on a monthly basis, we take a meal in for underprivileged youth. And that's something we're also involved in, as well as during Ramadan time and other times as well, we create food hampers, we collect food items, we create hampers, we deliver those hampers to those in need. Our committee also helps new Muslims and just helps them become educated in that area. So we have actually a course that runs about 3 to 4 times throughout the year. It's called Islam 101, which is open to anybody actually interested in Islam. So they could be non-Muslims, new Muslims, academics, anybody who's interested in learning the basics of Islam. So we also look after organizing that, as well as we host visitors at the mosque. So we provide tours, and we have school groups, university groups, church groups, other faith groups. Anybody who's interested, they come into the mosque and we organize those tours for them. The mosque is always an open place for anybody who would like to, see who Muslims are or understand, a little bit about Islam, because there are many misconceptions out there. So the mosque is always ready and open to host anybody who's interested. So we do these activities plus many more. So we're very lucky. So we're helping actually our Chef Jamal. And he's well known in the Muslim community. He cooks delicious food. So tonight we'll be making baked chicken, rice and vegetables, and we have cake for dessert.
My name is Jamal Zebian. I'm cooking today for the Salvation Army. Rice and chicken vegetable, leg with thigh, and biryani rice, and steamed vegetable.
Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of The Muslim View. My name is Abdel Fattah Tawakkul, and I'm going to be engaging you with a new segment today, which is called Ask the Imam Anything. This is a segment that is meant to help engage more with the community, where people can send in their questions that they have and that they'll be answered by a faith leader within the community. Today's question has to do with interfaith dialogue.
Hi, my name is Rania Ghazal, and a lot of my non-Muslim friends have been asking me this question, and I'd really appreciate it if the Imam can answer it. So the question is, is it okay for Muslims to go to Christian or Jude celebrations?
Now, in order to answer this question, it's important to be able to understand really what the basis is of interfaith interactions. When we're talking about interfaith dialogue between the three monotheistic traditions, in this case, between the faith of Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, the point of interfaith dialogue is never to blur the lines, so to speak, between each of the various and distinct faith traditions. A Muslim follows the tradition of Islam and is distinct from a Christian who follows the Christian faith, and is distinct from a Jew who follows the Jewish faith tradition. There are a lot of commonalities that exist between them, and there are also differences. But the commonalities between the monotheistic faith traditions are much more than the differences. But this does not mean that a person does away with the differences and blurs the lines between distinct identities or the individual faith traditions, which is not really what the point of any form of interfaith dialogue is. So when a Muslim is going to go, for example, to a Catholic or to a Jewish celebration per se, when a Muslim does so, they can do so in terms of observing what is taking place for the purpose of strengthening the bond or the bridge between the various faith communities. So as a sign of solidarity and whatnot, that a Muslim would go and simply to observe the practices of the other faith group. To actually partake in the celebration itself, or to partake in the actual ritual within a Christian or a Jewish place of worship, is something that for the Muslim, that there are going to be certain boundaries that we adhere to in order for us, one, not to compromise our own faith tradition, but at the same time not to disrespect the faith traditions or the rituals of others. And so for a Muslim, for example, to take part in the Eucharist, there are certain beliefs that are related to the differences of how Muslims view Jesus and how Christians view Jesus that would come into play with a ritual such as the Eucharist. A Muslim would observe the Eucharist in terms of being as an observer rather than someone who would partake in it. And the reason for that is because, one, the Muslim is not going to compromise in terms of their own faith principles to believe in the oneness of God, and that in terms of the person of Jesus as being a great prophet and messenger of God. And so this is one of the demarcation points between Muslims and Christians. And so it is also out of respect that the Christian who are practicing this ritual, they don't want any meanings to be taken away from their practice, which they believe in, and they have the right to believe in it, by someone who doesn't necessarily have the same world view. And so that's where you find some of the distinctions that occur between the various faith traditions, and that these distinctions are what make an individual who they are in terms of their identity. It's what makes a Muslim a Muslim. It's what makes a Christian, and it's what makes a Jew in terms of their own practices. And so in order to, if you were to mix between the various rituals, and you have adherents of, the Jewish faith, for example, partaking in the rituals of the Muslim faith tradition, that might perchance take away from the meaning that these rituals have for the one who believes in it and who practices it. And so out of respect, and in order not to compromise one's own faith principles, then there would be these limitations that would be put in place. And so to summarize, a Muslim would be able to go and simply observe the rituals of the Christians or the Jews, rather than participating or partaking in them, and the vice versa would also be considered as valid. I hope that clears up the question, and I look forward to seeing you on another segment of Ask the Imam Anything for the Muslim View.
Boston University, and we're here at the Southwest Islamic Center having a bake sale for Yemen.
Okay, so how this all came about is it started as a group project. All us Muslim sisters got together and were thinking what's the best way to take on leadership in our community. So we decided to help our Islamic community, and what better way to do that is to do it in our local mosque. So we all got together and we're deciding what should we do to raise the most money. We decided that we will go through a organization as big as Islamic Relief, and they were hands-on willing to help us with any way they could. However, we had to come up with our own creative idea. So we thought we all love to bake, why not start a bake sale? We didn't expect, we had a goal, it was $1,000. We didn't expect this to be, subhanAllah, so big. We were so happy to see everyone smiling and enjoying the desserts that we made, homemade. Everything on this table is homemade, including the little dessert bags that we have created.
So what we basically did was we each made up 3 different desserts to donate, and whoever would like to donate can either pay with cash or credit, and the proceeds are going 100% straight to Yemen.
Along with buying stuff for the bake sale, you can also go on Islamic Relief's website. You can donate to all the countries that they have listed. So there's Yemen, Syria, countries like that, and you can have your zakat done. It's almost the end of the year, so it's a good time to donate.
We are hopefully continuing to sell as we speak. I believe there are another group of people coming in very soon. Inshallah, we will make above and beyond our goal today.
So remember, you can also help by visiting the IslamicRelief.ca to help support children in Yemen.
My name is Amjad Qorsha. I am an associate professor in the field of Islamic studies, Islamic faith, comparative religions in the Faculty of Islamic Studies in Jordan, back in Jordan, Amman. About myself, actually, you know, I'm a Jordanian, okay? Originally, from ethnic point of view, I'm a Circassian from North Caucasia. My grandfather immigrated maybe more than 120 years ago to Jordan. I'm a deep Jordanian now, but ethnically I'm a Circassian. I'm a Muslim by birth. I'm studying Islam and teaching Islam since 33 years of my age. I was born in 1967. I'm 51 years old. I have 4 daughters and 1 son, 5 kids in general. I live in Amman. I'm an associate professor in the Faculty of Islamic Studies in Jordan. I have a good, nice relations with nearly everybody. I feel very happy with the people around me. I'm enjoying myself. And one last thing, deeply from the bottom of my heart, I love teaching. So I enjoy being a teacher. I enjoy being a lecturer. So I love it, and I encourage everyone, please, if God gave you any kind of thing that you think you could benefit others, please be a teacher. Teach the people the good thing that you have learned, inshallah. I'm here like in a, say, educational trip through a number of cities in Canada to talk about some family matters, youth issues, and you know, such topics, inshallah, with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, to be honest, now this is my first step in my tour, which is London Mosque or London City. So I found the society here extremely beautiful, nice. The people, they have a high harmony in their dealings. You know, most of them, they are educated. They have high ethics, high manners, very helpful, very respectful. Their kids are, you know, taught in a very nice way. Most of them, especially the people that I saw so far, most of them in the masjid themselves. So from different cultures, ethnic background, from maybe 20 different countries. So mashallah, most of them, they love each other. They speak in a very respectful way with each other. The harmony, I felt the blessings, you know, in this area. So I'm very happy to have this experience here. Actually, to be honest with you, still my experience is so little, but from what I have heard, the people around me, everyone is happy. I mean, I myself still, I have not encountered personally the experience, but everyone is mentioning this concept to me He says one of the best societies because they celebrate differences, which is uncommon worldwide. Because generally speaking, wherever you go, many clashes around the world happens because of the differences, which means it's either you are like me or I will do something bad with you, okay? Whether from ethnic point of view, religious point of view, sectarian point of view, whatever. So I knew from the people around me, at least, I myself had no opportunity yet to live it practically, but the people around me, whenever this point is mentioned, they feel very happy. They say we are highly respected, no one interferes in the other, everyone respects others' culture, religion, behaviors, whatever, as long as we are respecting each other. So I have like a very good attitude, and I'm happy to experience this experience still, sorry, to live it practically. I'm approaching it still. Person should choose his spouse. What conditions? Basically, if I'm a man, I would like to choose a wife. On what basis from Islamic point of view? To what things I should look? What are the conditions that will help me? What are the skills that I need to be able to choose the best partner, the best spouse, depending on Quranic verses, Quranic directions, prophetic directions. When Prophet Muhammad said, for example, do this and this, be careful from this and this, do your best to do blah, 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 etc. These conditions, basically, I'm trying to make it in a simple way, in case if you would like to abide yourself to Islamic teachings in general, taking in consideration the faith-based directions in Islam, please pay attention to the following, let's say, steps when you choose, when you think, when you discuss, when you find, and sometimes from my personal experience with tens of cases. For example, please try to avoid this. Do your best to test this point by this way. This is the general idea of the course that we are trying to do it today, inshallah, in London Muslim Mosque. By the way, you mentioned the concept of the arranged marriage. Is it good or bad? It's a negotiable point. Sometimes it leads to a nice marriages, sometimes. So the idea of attacking the arranged marriage totally, I think it's not good. And to consider it the only way is another mistake as well. Because sometimes I have my own way of thinking, okay? I respect my mother, good. I'm speaking to Islamically. Now, imagine that my mother loves this lady as a wife for me, but for me it does not fit, okay? The priority is my point of view, Islamically speaking, not my mother's. If I'm not able, because the end, if I listen to my mother or father, okay, especially if there's a serious clashes between my parents' criteria and mine, because at the end, if I listened, and sometimes, to the arranged marriage in their criteria, and this, to the best of my knowledge, could be leading me to injustice, I'm not supposed to listen to them. If it leads me to injustice, if what they are asking me to do goes in parallel with what I love, barakah, no problem. Now, in theory, the best way basically to do your best, you yourself, to be a good Muslim, first of all, first step. Because, as we say, I will not be able to find a good partner, a good spouse, unless I myself not part of the, let's say, of the area. Now, if I believe in Islam, as a Muslim, if I believe, I should myself be practicing Muslim. For example, now Islam, basically the basic thing of Islam, the name of Islam, goes to the two radicals or two root verbs, which is peace and submission. Islam, silm and taslim in Arabic. Now, by submitting myself to the will of my Lord, I will be able to achieve peace. Now, how do I submit myself to the will of my Lord? For example, my Lord is commanding me not to lie. My Lord is not commanding me not to do harm to anyone. My Lord is commanding me to do good to my parents. My Lord is commanding me to say the truth, and so on and so on. For example, first step to find a best wife by seeking blessings and guidance and help and support from Lord. I myself must be in. I mean, must be part of the system. I mean by system, I'm supposed to be someone who's practicing these values depending on faith-based things. Next step, to enjoy, you know, sometimes, and maybe the Canadian society will appreciate what I will say as a multicultural society. And I understood, at least from the people, still I have no experience in Canadian society, but I understood from the people around me in the last 2 days, they told me what distinguishes Canadian society, that they appreciate differences. Unlike some other societies outside Canada, which means they would love you to stay as is, and they respect you as you are. So, which means, and they do celebrate differences, let's say. So if you are a Muslim, for example, and you would like to enjoy your Islam, common sense, you will look for a Muslimah or a female Muslimah. Now, the first step, one of the conditions, if you, both of the, to have this kind of stability, both of them should believe in the same system, or otherwise contradiction, or clashes of interest, or clashes of priorities, for example. This is the first step. Now, rest step, for example, I will give an example. Prophet Muhammad said, for example, people in general, when they seek marrying from a woman, okay, they look to the beauty, or to look to the decentship, prestige, the family, or look to the money, or to the religion. Religion here means to her ethical manners, her religious status in terms of how submissive she is to the command of her Lord. He said, give the priority for the one who respects her Lord. This will be the best for you, but not put anything before that. Which means, for example, if she's very beautiful, but she does not respect anyone. If she's very beautiful, but she's arrogant. Islamically, this is not a preferable choice. Islamically, if she's less beautiful, but she respects the people, she is a better wife. For example, like this. And the same thing applies on men, for example. Now, for example, Prophet Muhammad is advising ladies, females, their families, their guardians, telling them, when a man comes to your daughter, for example, an example, because it's you know, it's for many hours the workshop, I'm giving examples. If a man comes approaching you to ask the hand of your daughter, for example, your sister, or you, the woman herself, someone is approaching you, give the priority for how he ethical and religious, and he's submissive to the conditions of his Lord, more than his money, or how handsome he is, or how, for example, you know, bodybuilding or beautiful, or whatever it is. Okay, they are all good, very nice, acceptable, but not on a condition that he has nothing to do with the ethical religious standards. But like these things, the one who take care of such conditions, doing his best to apply them by himself from one angle, then he tries to find someone who thinks in the same way, the possibility of achieving the best result will be there. Inshallah.